All right. All right, guys. Welcome again if you're watching live on Facebook or YouTube to another recording of Pencil Leadership. Got a very special and exciting guest for you guys this evening, today, whenever you're listening to this. So you're in for a treat. So get ready, get your pencils out, and start taking some notes. So today we are blessed to have Lizzie Cui on Pencil Leadership. Now, Lizzie is a special guest. She is actually an Olympian. She is on the New Zealand Olympic team. She's a diver, and she's also a 5-time national champion and record holder. Now, a cool thing about Lizzie being on the Olympic team is she was the first diver since the 92 games to be on New Zealand's team. And she's also competing at LSU. She actually is working on her master's. She just graduated, but she holds the 3-meter record. She's a 4-time SEC silver medalist and a 7-time NCAA All-American, and one of the most decorated divers at LSU. So Lizzie, welcome to Pencil Leadership.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
No problem. Super excited for you to share your story, dig in a little bit of what it's like to be an Olympic athlete, and just how you've grown through eating disorders and just as a person. So I guess starting, how long have you been diving?
So I started diving at around age 9. I was always into my sport. I was a gymnast prior and a swimmer. And then, I just bounced around sports as kids do. And, diving just stuck. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the people I was around.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know why it stuck, but it just did. And here I am 13 years later, 13, 14 years later.
That's awesome. So when did you know that you were decent at diving or pretty good at diving?
I've always been a competitive person. I've always wanted to be good at whatever I do. I knew that I was pretty talented, but I never really had a drive to be the best. I just was having fun and wanted to do whatever I was doing well. It wasn't until I'd say, I'm not sure what age, but I think around 14, maybe 15, that I just started thinking about the Olympics and where it would go. Cool. So I think around there, yeah.
That's awesome. So how old were you when you joined the Olympic team?
So I was 18 when I qualified, and it was my 19th birthday when I competed.
That's so cool. How'd it go? How was that like? Like, what is that, the feelings, the emotions of being in the Olympics?
It's such a hard thing to reflect on.
I bet.
Because it's like most athletes' dream to, it just, for some athletes, it seems like out of reach. And even for me, it did seem out of reach. So when I qualified, it really did take me by surprise, but I can't explain how much joy that gave me. And I couldn't believe it. And I still honestly haven't fully processed it. But it was an absolutely life-changing experience. And I wish I could go do it again.
Yeah. Are you eyeing Tokyo? If they do
so I've actually qualified for Tokyo, so I will be doing it again. But thank you. It's going to be different this time, knowing what I did in 2016. It'll be more of I think I'll be able to take it in more and really appreciate everything.
I'm sure.
Especially now, since we're waiting a whole nother year, it will just mean that much more.
That's so cool, though. That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's neat how you said you're competitive, but you weren't ever kind of focused on being the best, but you're still now succeeding and being one of the best at LSU and being in the Olympics. And so how long do you see yourself diving? I don't know divers' careers and things like that, but do you see yourself doing it for a long time?
So there's not very much money in diving, especially if you're from New Zealand.
Okay.
If I could get paid, really well and just do this for the rest of my life, I would. But of course, there's an age limit. You can't just be doing this for the rest of your life. And I mean, I have other aspirations outside, like my academic career, and but I don't know when that time comes. I'm going to reflect after the 2021 Olympics and really reflect on what I want to do. Am I ready to say goodbye? I think I will at least take a break.
Right.
and reflect on where I am. If
Yeah.
my life takes me to a position where, I can dive again and like it works out financially and I'm just
Mhm.
happy, then of course I'll be doing that. But I
That's
don't know.
cool.
We'll reflect after.
Yeah. Maybe you could be like the New Zealand go-to coach for diving, and maybe it'll be a bigger thing over there now.
Yeah, maybe. I haven't really thought about coaching that much, but
Yeah.
yeah.
That's cool. That's awesome. So what are you going to school for?
So I was in school, just graduated in
Huh?
May for journalism, print journalism with a minor in business, and I am going to get my master's as well as coach the LSU team as an assistant coach.
Cool.
So I'll be doing that, and I'll be doing my master's in liberal arts, which is non-subject specific. So I
Mhm.
get to choose. It gives me a little bit more flexibility.
Yeah.
That choice has been a little bit harder than I anticipated, like what I exactly want to do with that time. But I think I'm going to take some science classes to just increase my knowledge for science writing, which is ultimately what I want to be doing.
Cool. So what would that look like, writing science-wise? Like,
Yeah, so it's an interesting profession. It's not
mhm.
something that people usually do,
Okay.
especially journalists. They don't go into journalism thinking they're going to write about science.
Okay.
But I studied chemistry for a while. I
Oh,
studied
wow.
chemistry for about 3 years before I switched to journalism. Just with the sport and like the labs, I couldn't do it all.
Yeah.
But I still wanted to be involved in the chemistry and the science. And I think it's very interesting. So my
Yeah.
job is to understand the science and convey it to the average reader in a way
Mhm.
that they can understand and
Okay.
not have to, go through an academic journal because
Yeah.
typically people don't like to do that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's neat to see, you want to go down that path because yeah, I had not heard of it really much, and so
Mhm.
that's pretty neat. How is it? And so my background was athletic training, so I kind of
Mhm.
understand a little bit. But for you, how was that balancing one coming over from New Zealand and balancing school and then diving and Olympics and all that? How did you manage all that?
I think when you just grow up in sport, you are rushed and forced into managing your time.
Yeah,
Otherwise, you will just fail.
yeah,
And so it's kind of something like you're just thrown in the deep end and you have to just like learn to swim. And in high school, it was always like, I remember like it's prom here, but like for me, it's the ball. And
okay.
like every year it would land on nationals. So
Uh,
I would go to nationals, compete, and then just have to like turn around quickly, like go home, get dressed, do my hair and makeup and that stuff, and then go straight to the ball, and then but get home early enough to sleep. And it's like, so it's always a constant juggle, but
yeah,
as long as you have your priorities straight, but you're also having fun. I don't believe in giving up everything in order to do something. I
yeah.
think balance is key, and that's how I've enjoyed my sport for this long and still am enjoying it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I agree. I think balance is such a crucial thing because I mean, if we're not enjoying what we're doing, if we're not enjoying the process,
Mhm.
and what's the reason? What's the real purpose for it? So yeah, you got to be able to enjoy the process. Absolutely. But and I know that there's some struggles in your life that you've dealt with, and we'll get into that a little bit with the eating disorder and things like that. Um, did you find any other sort of like, I don't want to say negatives because I think we can grow from all of it, but trials throughout your life that really kind of helped you grow into who you are today?
Absolutely. I mean, that nothing, worth having or nothing that's worth it is easy in life.
Mm,
And
yep.
I mean, it definitely with sport, not just physically, but just extremely mentally.
Yeah.
It really does take a toll. And in New Zealand, we don't get funding, especially I was the only Olympian in that long. And
Wow.
we had, like, my parents had to fund everything. So if I had to go to a competition, they had to pay for my flights, they had to pay for my uniform, they had to pay for everything. And
Wow.
my parents aren't wealthy. So
Mm,
it really took a toll. Luckily, they believed in me enough to, make it work. But it did get to a point where my parents were like, we just can't afford this anymore. And I was
yeah.
about like 17 at this time. And I thought about saying like, oh, okay, I guess so. But I was like, no, I'm not ready to give up.
Yeah.
So I went out and I approached businesses on my own. I did all of these
Wow.
different things, and one bank, I think it's called the AMP Bank. I didn't even remember applying for it, if I'm being honest. But I got an email saying that I was a finalist for a scholarship.
Wow.
And I had to go to this building and pretty much present why I should get this money. It was $10,000. And it wasn't just athletes, it was research grants, like all these different, like really important things. So I'm like standing there trying to tell them why they should give me this money instead of somebody's research. And I ended up getting one of the grants, and like that was really huge for me because it was such a struggle. But the reward and like people like seeing people believe in me enough really drove me to realize that this sport is so much more than myself. I can motivate other people. So that's definitely one of the struggles that I've had, is just like financially, which is, I think it's a bit of an odd struggle for a person at my level. Like I still struggle with it now, just because New Zealand just doesn't have as much money to put into sport. But that's partly why I came to America, because they just have an abundance of sources, like it's amazing.
That's cool.
And then, as you know, like the eating disorder, I posted a video about it, just talking about it. And so that was definitely another one. Just the pressure to perform gets to everyone, even if you are a relaxed person. I think when you're at this high of a level, when you have such big dreams, it's really hard not to compare yourself. It's really hard not to criticize yourself. And that's something that I still struggle with like today.
Right. Yeah. And thank you for being transparent and being open. I think that really can start helping a lot of people when they hear someone like you share and come and be open about that. I think it can really help a lot of people grow. And so that's really cool that you're transparent with it. When did the eating disorder kind of start, or when did you like kind of notice?
So it's one of those things that you tell yourself you're okay, you got it under control, especially as an athlete. Like, you're just like, yep, it's fine. This is like all my, I'm in full control about what I'm doing. And I guess it started as early as like senior year of high school, not as bad. It's not until I got into college and I got, more competitive with competitions back to back. And I don't even know exactly where that pressure came from. Probably myself a lot of the time, because we are just naturally hard on ourselves. And it just blinded me to the fact of like any positives that it was just full of negatives. And I was just in a dark place. I think I was a little bit burnt out.
Yeah.
Continued all the way through like junior year. It wasn't like until I started seeing a therapist and really talking about it and just getting healthy in how I view my emotions and just being able to process all of that helped me recover. And I'm still like, I'm nowhere near as like that I was, but I still struggle with that, the body image, the food struggle, all of that stuff that a lot of people struggle with.
Yeah. Wow, that's so you kind of took control of it. Then you realized, and you're like, okay, I gotta take positive steps to reverse this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the first thing is to admit that there's something wrong.
Absolutely.
And for a long time, I thought there is something wrong, but it's okay. It's not that bad. And I actually had to treat it like, no, this is not healthy. And I started doing a lot of meditation that helped me a lot, and it just made me realize how much our body does for us. And I would never treat another person the way I treated myself. So why am I treating myself that way?
Wow.
And that's what I bring myself back to when I start criticizing anything to do with myself. I start thinking, wait, like my body is incredible. It does all these things for me. I should nourish it and take care of it.
Wow, that's really cool. It kind of goes back to like the golden rule: treat others the way you want to be treated. So like, would you treat somebody that way, how you're looking at yourself? And that's really eye-opening and really kind of a strong position to come from. And you said like seeing a therapist was a big positive change for you too, right?
Yeah, really opened my eyes to the importance of mental health and just an awareness that I didn't have before. It was like I was going through the motions, and the brain is, so important, and we work out, we eat right, we do all of these things, but so often people neglect the brain. And like our mental health. It's like
Oh,
anything. You need to
yep.
exercise it. You need to practice. That's why I like to do meditation and journaling and
Yep.
seeing a therapist, all these different things, because it's so important. It really, really does make a difference. And I think it starts with your mental health. If your mental
Yeah.
health is good, then most other things are good in your life.
And that's, yeah, I agree completely with that. I think everything kind of stems from the mindset, from the brain, and because that's a control center. I mean, so it's going to control emotions, it's going to control actions. And so, yeah, I think you hit it spot on with that. So you still see therapists then?
On and off. I
On
don't
and
see
off,
them
yeah.
as often, but it is very good to check up. You know, like I recommend anyone. If you
Yeah.
think that you have problems, if you think you don't, it doesn't matter. It's still healthy too.
Amen.
And just talking to somebody. If you don't have enough money for a therapist, completely understand. But there are other outlets. Find a close friend or somebody who will just listen to you unconditionally, and just allow you to voice what is going on, what you think, because a lot of people
Yeah.
don't even know actually how they're feeling, which is
Right.
crazy.
Yeah.
Um, so I really recommend working on your mental health.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100%. I'm always a proponent for seeking counseling or therapists because, yeah, my story, same thing. That's what changed me. Besides having mentors coming in and speaking positive in my life, that was a big turning point. So yeah, I think it's crucial and I think it's so important and nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with seeking help in that form. It's a sign of strength in my book to be able to do that.
Definitely. And I think a lot has, over the years, I've really realized that who you surround yourself with, what you listen to,
Yep.
all those things on a daily basis is really, really important. If you
Yeah.
are listening to negativity, if you're surrounded by people who treat other people bad and treat you bad, your life isn't going to be happy. It's not going to be abundant. It's not going to be, it's not going to be healthy.
Yeah.
So I really do believe in like manifesting what you
Mm,
want, seeing that vision and surrounding yourself with people who are going to help you and you're going to help them.
yeah.
Like I don't ask for something from anyone that I'm not willing to put out myself. Like I
Mm,
genuinely
that's
care
beautiful.
about the people around me and those people genuinely care about me. It's
Yeah.
like it's an equal relationship.
Yeah, and I think that's right on. I have some mentors and they say who you tune into, you turn into.
Mhm.
And who has your ear has your life. And they say that constantly. It's so true. Like and everyone's probably heard it. You're the sum of the five people you
Yeah,
are around.
exactly.
A friend of mine who's does the same thing I do. He said, if you hang around five successful people, you'll be the sixth. But if you
Mhm.
hang around five ignorant people, you'll be the sixth. And so
Yeah,
it's so crucial who we hang around, and I think it really does make a huge difference.
that's true. And I mean, I think in our youth, we don't really think about that as much.
Mhm.
I mean, I know that I definitely didn't like think about that actively, like earlier in my life, but
Yeah,
I think, once you grow up, you mature a little bit, and if you have big goals and dreams, you need to start thinking about how you're actually going to make that happen.
yeah,
Like it's up to you. Nobody's gonna come pick you up and give you all these opportunities. You have to do it yourself.
yeah, yeah. You got the action. You got to put the action in and put the work in for sure. And I like how you took action, going and seeing a therapist, and then working on your mental health. And you mentioned meditation and journaling. Are those the main two things you use to work on your mindset and your thoughts and your brain, or do you do other things as well?
It's that, but it's a continuing process.
Yeah. Yep.
I've recently, like, I think within the past year, I've really started exploring my spirituality.
Okay.
And I think, being involved in a church or in a anything that you believe in, like whether that's, I don't know, if you're a Muslim or if you're Buddhist, if you're Christian, anything that you believe in, I think that it's good to have a spiritual base.
Mm,
And so I started thinking like mind, body, and spirit. If
okay.
those things are balanced in my
Yeah.
life, I find that I'm happy and that I'm
Yeah.
functioning well.
That's
But
good.
if, like, the mind and the body are great and the spiritual is down, or like the body is down and the mind and spirit, like they need to be in balance. They need to be in
Yeah.
harmony for me to be in harmony. So,
That's cool.
and it just gives you it humbles you to think about like what is your purpose here, and it's just really helped me like discover like what I want to do on this earth, and like I want to impact people in a positive way, and that gives you purpose. And it's just humbling to know that it's not all about you. It's actually about everyone else.
Yep. Absolutely. I love it. Yeah. And it's kind of just the whole reason that I started Pencil Leadership was that same thing, and just wanting to make a difference and help people see their purpose and the passions that they have in life and be fulfilled. But yeah, you talking about the meditation, the journaling, and the spirituality, I think about my life. Like if I'm doing like the meditation and the journaling, but then I'm not getting in my Bible, reading there, I'm still lacking. So I can, I notice a difference. Or if I'm not reflecting, journaling on what I'm reading, it's imbalanced. So it's like a Trinity kind of three things there. I like that. It's really cool.
Yeah, that's really helped me a lot. It's the same. Like if you're like all into your Bible, but you don't work out ever and you eat pizza every night, like that's not healthy either.
Right.
You know, you have to be working. It has to be all in harmony. And so whenever I feel like not very good, or I just feel like I'm not feeling great, I reflect on that. I'm like, okay, what am I doing for my body? What am I doing for my spirit? What am I doing for my mind? And like, if I'm like, oh, I actually haven't done anything for my mind this week, like I will pick up my journal, or I'll meditate or something like that. And it often makes me feel a lot better.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. I think everything's in tandem. I think everything works together. So it's a huge part of it. What would you say to maybe athletes, or just people in general who are listening to this, who might be struggling with maybe not just an eating disorder, but maybe just feeling off, maybe not feeling fulfilled, and maybe stressed, overwhelmed? What would maybe some advice you would give just from your perspective?
Yeah, that's a lot, but I think the number one thing is to be patient with yourself, give yourself grace, like realize that you're okay and that you are doing your best. And I would definitely suggest to talk to somebody that you trust, because I really believe that if you're holding on to emotions, they're going to come out in some way, shape, or form, whether that's physical pain, whether that's, you know, anger and frustration or sadness, it's going to come out. So releasing that either on like a pen and paper and a diary, or, you know, talking to somebody, just getting it out there. They don't need to offer any advice. Just speaking your mind will take a weight off your shoulders. So I really think that would be the first step.
Yeah, I love it. I think that's so true, because I used to be real bad about internalizing everything, even good things, like just keeping it all inside and just build up, and either make me sick or just make me kind of like blow up all at once, and like whether that be anger, just kind of just getting down real quick. And so I think getting it out on paper or in word or with somebody is so crucial. I think it's a huge part of growth and healing.
Absolutely. It's incredible how connected the mind and the body are. People think that they're different, but they're not. You know, often when you're super stressed, you get a cold or you get sick, and it's not a coincidence. It's because they're out of whack. You need to treat the mind and the body the same, and give it love and nourish it, not abuse it. But absolutely. I mean, a lot of people internalize what they feel because they think that they need to be strong. They think that weakness, you know, vulnerability is weakness, but it's not. It makes you stronger. It just benefits you in so many ways, and it benefits somebody else for them to listen to you be vulnerable, allows them to feel like they can be vulnerable too.
Yeah. And that was a huge turning point for me, was realizing that like being vulnerable, like allowed others then in that vicinity to be vulnerable. They're like, okay, if he's doing it, if he's opening up, and maybe I can too. And so my mind went to, okay, I'm helping people. Like I'm being vulnerable. That's going to help somebody. Okay. I can deal with maybe the anxiety or the stress of being truthful and being open, but it could help somebody. So I think, vulnerability is key.
Yeah, it really is. And that, like the video I posted with my friend, you know, we had such great feedback from that. Just people that I had no idea that would struggle with such a thing were, you know, emailing me, messaging me, saying thank you for doing that. And I just felt like so much joy knowing that, you know, even though we went through a struggle, that it was for a reason. And I really do believe everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
That's why any struggle that I go through, any trial, I take it as a positive, because maybe somebody else is going through a similar thing and I can help them.
Yeah, that's so true. Yeah, because yeah, our journeys, I mean, we learn, we go through hard times, but yeah, like you said, it could be someone else's learning point. Like they'll be able to learn and grow from that, even though we went through it. And the second trait of pencil leadership is that pencils have to be sharpened to have a point and leave a mark, but they're going to be painful, but they're going to make you better. And so it's the same thing kind of there, like you put out.
That's good. I like that.
Thanks. Yeah. So, well, I've really enjoyed this conversation. I think it really has brought a lot of value, and so much good there. Before, I would love to hear your take on the fifth trait of pencil leadership, which is that we're all made for a reason. We all have a reason we're here to leave a mark, and that could look different for different people. When everything is said and done for you here on Earth, what do you hope your mark is that's left?
I just want to reach as many people as I can. Like, I want to impact as many people as I can in a positive way, whether that be in sport, whether that just be as a role model of love and friendship. I think we can impact anyone. You don't have to be an athlete. You can be just a person. And, you know, reaching out to somebody, being that listening ear, just showing them love, I think leaves such a positive impact on them. And I think I know that I want to do that as much as possible. So anything in my life, I want to be spreading love, whether that be in my sport, whether that be in my career, you know, in anything that I do. So that's like my motivation forward, is even when I'm training and it's hard, I know that I'm motivating little girls in New Zealand or anywhere, or even little boys or even old people anywhere to do something. So it's worth it. It's not about me. It's about everyone else.
I love that. I love that so much. I'm really glad we connected and we're able to make this happen, and for you to share. And again, thank you so much for taking time out. I look forward to what you do in the future, because I know just with your determination and competitive spirit, you're going to accomplish so much and make such a big impact. You truly are a pencil leader in every aspect of that. So Lizzie, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Before we hop off, I would love for you to share where people can connect with you as well.
Instagram is my most used, you know, platform. LinkedIn as well. I've been using more for more academic purposes. But I'm always on email, Instagram. I reply to my DMs as much as I can. So any questions, flick me a message and I'll reply.
Cool. Awesome. Yeah, guys, connect with her. She's got a great story. She's very motivating. And yeah, just get connected there. So Lizzie, again, thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you.
All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in live on Facebook and YouTube today. If this brought value to you, share it. Let other people get this message that Lizzie shared with us today, so you can help, and that her message can continue to help more and more people. And if you did like the episode, find it wherever you can listen to podcasts, share, subscribe, leave a review. We're just trying to reach a lot of people, and so that helps every chance that we have to share it. So thank you again, guys, for tuning in. So let's go out there and be pencil leaders.